Okay, here we are with Walthers electric arc furnace. This is coming after a steel mill blast furnace. I figured out after I laid the tracks that all I really needed to do was just have all three lines go into where that bottle car is, because the other ones aren't going to exit. Made the high line from Woodland Scenic's riser with foam underneath, glued it with Arlene's tacky glue, covered it with silicone, covered that with caulk, and then painted it gray with house paint. Putting the caulk on the silicone makes it so you can paint it. So you've probably seen most of this before. There's been some changes here. Again, ended up putting magnets on the roof to hold it in place. Got the little glowing lights. Got the front coming off. Got a Bob Forsyth ladle. Walthers heavy duty crane. Bottle car with the lids popped off. I have to put those back on. Got the ladder up there. This is the furnace itself, supposedly. Made little cars to hold the pots. This is for the scrap steel to be loaded up, and that's for the iron to be loaded up. Painted up the furnace. Hooked up electrical wires on the inside and going to the outside. Put a little picket fence around it to keep people from getting electrocuted from the ooby static stuff coming off the line. And this is what would coming out of the blast furnace, or coming out of this arc furnace. Basically, this is incoming scrap steel. This is where the ladle cars come out, and this is where the bottle cars go. The bottle cars will go on into the oxygen furnace. And same thing on this side. It's ladle cars going out and scrap steel coming by. This is pretty much decimated at the moment. This is some of the cars I made. Put green stuff around here to hold the cars. Brandon Weehe's ladle and scrap steel. Going up on the high line would be the lime and the ore. So I made these covers with well, this one anyway. That one's been on too tight. So anyway, I drilled holes in the ones I could buy, and I couldn't find anything. Every one of these cars they make is a different size, and who knows which one's the model. They have model numbers. Oh man. So anyway, I could find them. Actually, I bought this thinking it would fit this, and it didn't fit this. So I ended up finding out and bought these cars. So put these in here. Oh, yeah, that's the story of my life, isn't it? Buy something to get something else. But anyway, I have dozens and dozens. All I did was put cardboard, cut the cardboard to the size, and this is tile filler, or whatever we call that stuff in between it, but it's for tiles. So anyway, I need to work on that. As always, showing off the demo is cracked up. So this is one of the blast furnace dumper cars. I got lime for here, and still working on making iron ore, because I'll need iron ore for here, and iron ore for the buckets, and iron ore for here and there and everywhere. But anyway, that's the story. Working on this, I figured out this is what it's gonna be, and this is the old one, and all the little parts. This is the old screw. This is the new one. Stuff here, stuff there, stuff everywhere. Stuffing up. Oh, and that's the reason I'm walking on down this side. You notice this, back when you saw it, this had a big chrome pipe coming off here. But what it amounts to is this will fit in there and go down here and going off down the world back to the sintering plant. But cut the pipe, or cut this little block exactly to fit, and then when I mounted this and mounted it down here so that it would come in and out even, I forgot about that, so I need to cut off another 1/4 inch of this. But I also need to make about a bunch of those, because going from here to the powerhouse centering plant, or what do you want to call that thing, that's going to be about 10 feet. 10 feet of copper pipe sitting in the air. So I'm going to have a bunch of those little wooden blocks to hold up 10 feet of pipe. So this is what used to be on there. This thing here going down to a big block in the ground, but that looks stupid even for me. So I found out this is of course part of the blast furnace ducting, and ended up I can make that fit to there and that fit to there, and I said, okay, well, let's go with that. So we're going with that. That's the new oxygen furnace export. This will be where trucks load off and put the lime and whatever else they need to do to dump into here. This is the extra that goes into the little bucket there. And then on this pipe over here, it goes from the oxygen, goes to the oxygen lance that goes, all that gets dumped down into the oxygen. Basic oxygen furnace. And here we have the electric arc furnace. That's what this one's supposed to be about. And got the pipes and everything. Here we go. So, oh, and these are going to be servo controls for the switches. Mounted on a little piece of wood. You can see a little wire there. They're not hooked up. I got little holes there to put the servo wires down through. They're not hooked up because what I figure, if I ever try to do this, jigging back and forth is going to break that little switch. So I don't want to mess with breaking my switches. So I'm waiting for the DCC system to come in and some parts to make servo controllers that don't jump when you turn them on. Most servos, when you actually apply the electricity, they jump for a second. And if doing that to the switch, something would break. So we don't want that. So that's still on pause. Okay, I think you see all the little wires, strings coming up, hooking stuff up. Okay, there it was. Walthers electric arc furnace. Oh, diddle. Goodbye.